Alright, so this video is called the KTP or the kitchen table presentation, and obviously this is after the T.R.C. and you find out that they want to know more about money and how to educate about money. Now, Chris is going to be going over the KTP, and obviously you need a blank paper and a pen and you need to write it out in front of them, but just for this video he's going to be explaining it already written, but you want to write it in front of a client.
So Blaze, have you ever been to a doctor's office before?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever had a doctor come in and they say, oh, you know what, you're having pain on your side? Let's give you pain medication, right? So what would that be treating? Would that be treating the symptom?
Symptom, yeah.
Yeah, it would be treating the symptom, of course. But what's behind the symptom, right? So what most people do with their finances is they treat the symptom and not the cause of the pain, right? So what do I mean by that? Okay, so Blaze, Social Security did a study. And what they found is that of 100 people that in a statistic at the age of 65, this is what they found. 54 of them were broke, which means they were living paycheck to paycheck, or they had less than $100,000 or less than $1,000 in their savings, right? At any given time. 36 of them had already passed away. 5 of them were still working. 4 of them were financially independent, which means they didn't have to work anymore. And 1 of them was wealthy, meaning they didn't have to work and they can afford what they want, right? So this is the between the financially independent and wealthy, that's only 5% of America, right? And what about the other 95%, right? What do you think the difference is between what the 5% know and the 95% know?
Retirement?
Retirement?
They don't know how to plan.
They don't know how to plan, right? Okay, so what the difference, would you agree with me, it would be a lack of financial education and resources.
Yeah.
Okay, so 95% of America are using what's called this retirement stool, right? The retirement stool has 1, 2, 3, 4 legs, right? The first leg is what's called Social Security, right? Back in the day, you used to have 40 retirees paying in for every one, or 40 people paying in for every one retiree. Today, now it's 4 to 1. Do you think that makes a big difference in retirement, right? Absolutely. So actually, there's only, by 2032, they imagine all the funds are going to be completely exhausted according to the statistics. So do you think this is going to be a safe retirement to bank on?
No.
Absolutely not, right? And then the next one is what's called pension, right? But only 5% of companies actually even offer pension nowadays. Do you think this is a safe retirement?
No, I don't have one.
Absolutely not, right? You don't have one?
No.
And then the next one is self-government funds, which people pay a lot in taxes. Do you think this is going to be a safe leg to rely on, right?
What is that?
Have you ever heard of a 401k, IRAs, or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, I have a 401k.
You have a 401k? Okay. But it's like, it rises and falls with the market, so it has a lot of risk, right? So do you think this is the safest
I think
to
it's
retire?
a good retirement tool.
You think it's a good retirement tool? Okay, so what if I told you that there's a way that you would be able to not only protect your assets, right, but never have to worry about your 401k losing money ever again? Would that be something that you would be open to?
I don't think my 401k loses.
Oh, it does lose. It loses quite a bit if you're in the wrong market. But we'll cover that later, okay? Okay.
So that's not safe. Okay.
So it's not safe, right? And then there's something called personal savings, right? Now, that really depends from person to person. But it's like, are you saved up right now? Is it going to be enough to last your retirement?
I don't have any savings.
So then it's not very safe, right? So what our company does is we build other legs to help stabilize the stool in retirement. Does that make sense to do?
Yeah. I wouldn't sit.
Now, would you sit on this stool in retirement?
With the pillars, yeah.
With the pillars now?
Whatever those pillars are. No.
No, absolutely not. Okay, so that's the retirement stool. Now, if you want to have a solid financial foundation, some of the 5% know how to do, right? There's 4 cornerstones in order to make this possible, right? The first one is growth, would you agree with me that to become financially independent, your money has to grow?
Yes.
Absolutely, right? So, and then it has to also grow what's called safely, right? You got to have safety in your plan, right? What was his name? The most successful investor of all time. His name's Warren Buffett, right? He has 3 rules he lives by. 1, always make money. 2, never lose money. And 3, always remember rules 1 and 2.
Oh.
Right? So, the first way that money can grow is what's called fixed, which it doesn't grow by very much, but it doesn't lose any money, right? What accounts are like this?
Bank? Like my bank?
Bank account,
My savings?
savings account, those type of things, right? Make 0.01% interest.
Or like
right?
penny, yeah.
Yeah, literally pennies. And then the next type of account is what's called variable. Variable are things. What would you think a variable account would be in?
Stocks.
Stocks, okay, like stocks, 401ks, and stuff like that.
401k?
Yeah, so 401k is actually just a bunch of stocks put together and thrown together as mutual funds. Mutual funds make up the 401k.
Oh, like when I lost money in 2008.
Right. So there was a lady that's a client of ours. She actually showed us her statements where she had 800,000 in 2008. By 2009, she was down to $400,000. Right. She was 2 years from retirement. Now she's still working. Do you think that's something she wanted or anticipated?
Oh, heck no.
Right. So knowing what she knows now, she wished she would have met with me back in 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
Right. Reason being is because the next one is what's called indexed, right? Where your money goes up, and it locks in with the gains when the market's up, but when the market goes down, it acts like a fixed, and you don't lose any money. And then it steps up in retirement, so it never loses money. Do you think this is would have been very beneficial for her?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, right? So if you wanted to grow money to grow and you wanted to grow safely, which way would you rather have it grow? 1, 2, or 3?
3.
3, definitely, right? Now the next cornerstone, that if you don't understand how to get around it, you'll never be able to become financially independent. Do you think that's very important to know how to get around? Absolutely, right? There's something called taxes, right? My grandma used to tell me there's only 2 things that are promised in this world. The first one's death, and the next one's taxes, right?
Oh.
You pay taxes on your paycheck. You pay taxes on when you go to buy a car, to buy a house, to buy really anything. And then they turn around, you pass away. They want you to pay inheritance tax, right? So what we show people is we show them how. Let's say we're 29, right? And we turn around and by 65 we take $100,000, like we pull together 100,000. By 65 it grows to $1 million, right? Now where would we rather pay taxes on? 100,000 and have $1 million tax free, or not pay taxes on 100,000 and have to pay taxes on $1 million?
Wait, what?
Where would we rather pay taxes on?
Where would I rather pay taxes?
Yeah, on 100,000 or the million?
100,000. 100,000,
right? So what most people do is instead of paying taxes on 100,000, they opt and pay taxes on the $1 million.
You mean government? Like if I was government?
Like anyone with a 401k, 403b, those type of things.
So if I was government?
So if you're the government, where would you rather tax me?
Yeah,
on
government.
100,000 or on $1 million?
Yeah, they take my money, $1 million.
Right?
They do?
They want to tax us here, right?
Like what?
Things like 401ks, IRAs.
401k does that?
Yep. Because you defer your taxes, and you can't really get around taxes like that.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Makes a big difference in retirement.
Yeah.
Right. And then so what we show you is how to navigate through the financial complexities and pay taxes here rather than paying him here. Right? Okay. So that way when you get to retirement, you have $1 million and you have it tax free.
Okay.
Right? Makes sense, right?
Wait, you show me that later.
Okay. So I'll show you how to do that later. Now, over here, there's what's called protection, right? And there's 3 things you want to protect. First one is your family. Next one's your health, and then your estate, right? You protect your family with things like life insurance, right? Because people have car insurance, auto insurance, phone insurance, all those things. Why do they have it? It's in order to that way if something happens, the situation is rectified, right? But let's say something were to happen to you, you don't come home tomorrow. What happens to your kids, right? Who's gonna be financially responsible to take care of them, right? So you want to protect the number one thing is your family. Next thing is your health. Okay, healthcare can devastate someone in retirement if they don't plan for it, right? So we had a client, right, that had over $1 million in their 401k. When they had a long-term care need, they had to diminish all of their assets in retirement, right, including their house and everything else.
Okay.
It's like, do you want that to happen to you?
No.
Right. So if you can plan for it, then you can rest a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
And then the next thing is the estate. Okay. So have you heard of Prince? Okay. So Prince was worth over $400 million, right, when he passed away. But his family only get $200 million. Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
Because he didn't plan for it, and the government had a plan for him, whether he liked it or not.
Okay.
Right. So if you don't plan for this, the government already has a plan for you.
Oh,
right?
Sure.
Make sense?
So you protect. Okay.
Okay. So now if you had all of these 4 cornerstones covered, how do you feel about now your financial plan moving forward?
Oh, yeah, better. I didn't know about that.
Feels a lot better, right? Okay. Okay. So the last thing when we sit down with clients, we cover. Okay. So Blaze, let's imagine we have a financial house, right? And in this house, it has a foundation, right? Okay. Now debt is the foundation of your financial house. So let me ask you a question. If you wanted to build a proper foundation, would you rather build it on concrete or a solid foundation, or would you rather build it on sand?
Concrete.
Concrete, absolutely, right? So debt, if you don't eliminate debt, it can devastate your entire foundation, make it very shaky, right?
Yeah.
And then long-term care and or protecting your health, an emergency fund can help you weather your financial storms. And retirement and life insurance will help you further secure the structure. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you have all of these, this would make you be able to have security in your retirement. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Having all of these in place is important, right? So the way that we transition into or are able to help you with this is through what's called the financial needs analysis, which will cover all of these as well as all of the cornerstones. Would you agree with me? It's better to have a plan than not have a plan.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to need to do is I'm just going to ask you a few questions, and then so that way I can help you further your financial future.
Okay.